Good morning, everyone. My name is Gloria, and today I want to share with you my most recent hobby yarn haul. In case you may not have known, I was one of the Hobbii Bingo winners recently. I won a $30 gift card, and as well as during that week, there's a lot of Hobbii Bingo specials, and there's one of those live shopping events. So there were a lot of great deals, and I got a huge haul, so I can't wait to share it with you today. Before we begin, I also want to show that the sweater that I'm wearing is the Ranunculus Sweater by Knit Cafe Midori, and I actually used Hobbii Rainbow Cotton 84 for this. This is really nice if you want to try knitting garments with a bit of lace for the first time. This one works up really fast because you use I think size 6mm needles, or I think that's a US size 8, and you use a very thin yarn. Also in terms of sizing, it's not exactly one size fit all, but they recommend that you wear it with like 6 to 10 inches of positive ease. So even if you happen to go up, like your needle size is too small, you still have a lot of ease to work with for the way the pattern is written. And then, if you're not sure if you go too large, that's okay as well. So you can see, like, I'm quite petite, but there's a lot of extra room here. So I like to wear, this is a cotton top, it's perfect for summer. I like to wear on top of a tank top or like a light cotton t-shirt. So you can see a little bit of the color that pokes through, but it's not too heavy like a wool sweater for summer, because I find that really sticks to my skin and I find it a little bit itchy. But the cotton is very breezy. This shirt is oversized, so it's also very breezy, and it's could be used also as a swim cover up if you need to as well. So without further ado, let's get started. I do want to say I also live in Ottawa, Canada, and usually when I get my hobby orders from Denmark, they don't charge me any customs, and so maybe I've been very unlucky up until now, and then this order, I got dinged for customs. So I have 2 bags. The hobby order was in 2 bags, and then the postman had to come and charge me tax on all of it, and also per package a $9.99 shipping and handling fee. So that was an extra about 50 Canadian dollars I wasn't expecting to spend. So that was a big hit, but I don't think it's Hobbii's fault, so I'm not gonna obviously tell them. It's just like luck of the draw at customs to see which package gets dinged or not. But I think the order said approximately together, I think it was about 150 US dollars. That's after my gift card, but all the discounts, and I got 2 major packages. So I think it was about 175 Canadian at the time. So I paid about 225 Canadian for all this yarn. So hopefully we see if it's worth it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open up one of these packages. It's a true unboxing. I haven't even opened it. All right. This one we have, I bought a lot of rainbow cotton. So I think at the time with the discounts, it was 40% off. So it was about $1.32 USD per skein. Usually I buy, I think it's a good deal when it's about $1.40, $1.32. So I thought I would go ahead and stock up, especially for like summer garments like this one. So looks like I got at least 5. I like to order in even numbers. I don't know why. It's just like a nice, because then you get like nice 300, nice 400 grams. So this one is the Hobbii Rainbow Cotton. This one's 8.4. It's 100% cotton. This little skein does 50 grams. As I mentioned, it was only $1 plus change. It's 170 meters, or approximately 186 yards. It's a size 1 super fine, but I've also seen it swatched to like a DK or fingering. So that's kind of nice. This one says color wash warm, or for the white one, so you can also machine wash them. It says 40 degrees, I guess, Celsius for color, and then 95 degrees Celsius for white, so you can iron it. For knitting needle sizes, you need 2.5 to 3.5 millimeters, or US sizes 2 to 4. And for a 10 by 10 centimeter swatch, it's about 27 stitches and 38 rows. So this is like one of their flagship, oh, maybe it's backwards because I'm using a front facing camera. That's okay. It's also OKO Tech certified, so that's good. And so I think I was gonna make a top with these ones potentially, but I've also made like, after you have a bit of leftovers, there's a couple of really good market totes that you can probably look up. I think All About Emmy, Stephanie Lau, she does a lot of crochet and knitting tutorials and patterns for free, so you should check them out on her blog. She has like a Wild Rose Market Granny Square bag, so if you have a lot of different colors, you could definitely try to make different colors of granny squares or different like just color patterns with some of the scraps left over from other cotton yarns, and then make like a nice market tote. For those, she does recommend that you use cotton if possible, because if you use like acrylic or wool, it might stretch with use because you're constantly putting a weight on it if you're using it for a bag. So I definitely recommend that pattern as well. So this is oh, let's see, this one says it's color 36. Let's see what the manifest. This one is aubergine. This one is aubergine. So really cute, great deal for cotton. And it's also very like soft. It's not like as like a scrubby, like when you sometimes see like peaches and cotton, peaches and cream cotton, I think. It's a bit more rough, it's stiff, but this one is very nice. I love working with it. So that is the purple one. Oh, okay, looks like I bought 8 purples. So here's the 7th. And then here's the 8th. Okay, so I bought 8. I was like, wow, 300 grams seems a little low. I bought 8 of these. And then I also bought it in silver, or this says silver gray, so same deal. This one is a very light pale silver, so I wasn't sure what I was gonna do with these ones. So either I'll make like one top with them, or I'll do some sort of color project, but you know, obviously gray goes with everything, so I always like to buy some gray and purple. And so I bought 8 of those. So that's whoops. Okay, so that's almost done. And then I got 1 Dahlia Cake. This was also, I believe, on the cotton sale from their Hobbii live shopping. I think it was about $10, so I thought I would try it because I love purple. You can tell I love purple. So there's a light purple, and then it fades into like a black. So more about it. It's a 100% cotton cake, 200 grams, so 7 ounces, and 800 meters, or 874 yards. It has a nice easy start tab if you want to pull from the middle. I actually recently have started to like to pull it from the side because I don't like how it collapses, and then it just like falls in on itself. And I know there are tricks to do that, like if you don't touch the cake, but and then just let it pull from the middle. I personally don't like doing that because I do have to move my projects like from point A to point B around my desk while I want to change over from work to crocheting and things like that. So I don't think that's really feasible. But I did get a yarn butler or a yarn spindle, I think. And so if I just like stick the cake onto it, then I can pull from the outside and the whole thing will spin, so it doesn't, it helps the twist in the yarn as well when you're using it. So I might try using that for the cake. Otherwise, I'll just like lay it flat and then pull from the outside when I crochet with it. Sorry, I didn't even tell you, finish reading the rest of the label. It's recommended for a knitting needle that's 2.5 to 3.5 millimeters, US 2 to 4, or crochet hook for 3.5 to 4 millimeters, or US E to G. And it says it's a size 2 for the 2 weight, and it's machine washable, which is nice because it's cotton. I would actually honestly consider it a 1, 2, like a size 1 if it's a fingering weight almost. It's pretty thin. And oh, I don't know if you noticed, if you're familiar with Hobbii cake yarns, you'll know that it's actually like 4 cotton strands kind of lightly plied together. So that's how the color changing works, because like when you start going to the next color change, they'll change one of the 4 threads to the next color, and then there'll be 2 of the 4 threads to the next color, and so on. So that's how you get this very gradual gradient cake. So I really like it. So I think in previous videos, I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I like it, but you know, at least with this color scheme, I think I'll be really excited about it. I was thinking about making a crochet shawl with this, but I don't know, I'd be open to knitting something as well. So if you have any pattern ideas, link them below. Okay, let's see. And then they also had unicorn on sale. I believe this was from the Hobbii Bingo time when I was ordering. It was only about just under $13 per skein. So I thought I would try it out. I've gotten the unicorn solids before, but I've never tried the variegated one. So I thought I would give it a shot. So this is unicorn yarn. It's 75% merino wool and 25% polyamide. So for sure, at least if I have 1 skein, I can make a pair of socks easy. Depending on if I have multiple skeins and if they fade well, then you can do like a bigger project, like a shawl or a sweater, and then just slowly fade or blend the colors together if you alternate. And since you only have 1, you don't have to worry about alternating skeins with different dye lots, but it's good to know that you can do that. All right, other interesting information about it. It's a 100-gram skein. 3.5 ounces is about 400 meters or 437 yards, which is pretty typical for like like your fun sock wool that you might want to buy from an Indian dyer or other. And for sure 400 meters should get you a pair of socks. Needles are, knitting needles is 2.5 to 4 millimeter knitting needles, or US size 2 to 6. A crochet hook is 3 to 4 millimeters, or US size 2 to 6, or C to G. For the gauge for a 10 by 10 cm swatch, it's 28 stitches to 40 rows. This one says it's size 1, super fine, hand wash at max 20 degrees Celsius. Don't soak, wool detergent only. Okay, so I didn't know that you shouldn't soak it, because I'm not sure how you wash it if you don't do a soak. But maybe if you do like wool wash with a bit of soaking to block, then might be okay for color fast. But I am a little bit worried, like if there's a lot of white in this one, at least if the blue like starts to melt or the pink starts to melt, then we might, I'm sure it'll still be fine, but I guess the color effects won't be as vibrant. So this one, I believe this one says color 3. Oh, this one just says color 3, and this one just says color 7. I know they have real names, so I'll try to put them in the comments below. But this one is very orange, pink, blue. So we'll see how this works up. And then this one is like a lot of colors. I don't know if you can see, there's like dark blue, and then a bit of pink, pink speckles, light blue speckles, and then this like bright, vibrant orange. If I remember correctly, this one might be a bit of self-striping when you knit it up as a sock at least. So I think I was like, oh, that seems really good for a pair of socks. So I think this one I was going to go for that. I did order some unicorn solid some time ago. I don't remember if there's any in this order, but then I was thinking if I have scraps of those, that I can use them as like a contrast heel or contrast toe, if I ran out of yarn for some reason, or if I wanted just to make the variegated one last longer. So a lot of ideas. Also, there's also like many one skein wonder for shawls and for hats as well. So if you just want to make one hat out of a skein, then for sure, like, I think you can do a fingering weight hat. And some people find it better because the fingering weight hats have a tighter gauge, so there's less like wind that goes through it, because it's just so, the stitches are very close together. So, you know, find your own personal preference. A lot of options you can do even with just one skein of something. So in this packet, there were 16 rainbow cottons in aubergine and silver gray. Then I got 1 Dahlia Cake, which is 200 grams. And then I got 2 unicorn skeins. And then there's obviously the regular goodies, which are the candy. And I got some stitch markers, I guess, which have numbers. So I'm thinking it's either like you can use them as row repeats, or if you have to change your needles for some reason, you can say, oh yeah, I use size 5 or 5 millimeters or whatever it is. So that's very handy, I think, if you have a lot of projects on the go. So that is fun. I try not to use like the same needle size for more than one project at the same time, because I only have one interchangeable set. So I don't want to be like, oh, I'm in the middle of a 4 millimeter project, but I want to work on this one and then I'll cast on something. So I really try not to do that. So I haven't run into this issue yet, but now I have some stitch markers that will help. All right, let me just move this pile of yarn over. All right, let's look at the other one. This one feels like it's bulkier. Oh, okay, another candy. We have a lot more cotton, so it turns out I did order. So this one is, oh, gotta find it on there first. This color is called Bordeaux, this red color. It's not the same color as the one I'm wearing. You can't see. This color is more of a fuchsia color. This Ranunculus Sweater. This one's a Bordeaux, so on the screen it looked very wine colored. I hope you can kind of see. Yeah, it's very red, it's very deep red, but a little tints of purple. So if you want to see it in kind of the same color family as the aubergine, they're pretty complementary in terms of like how deep the color is. I'm sure there's a technical term for that. But I mean, we still also have gray and red. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like my high school colors, which are like maroon and like light gray. So I know a lot of sports teams use gray and red. So if you ever need to make some hat or other collegiate wear, then got options with Hobbii. So I'm sure I probably bought 8 of these. Oh, and I also have this color, which is a darker gray. This one is called Anthracite Gray. It's color 10. Oh, and this one is color, the red one is color 60. So obviously gray goes with everything too. The gray goes with gray goes with purple, gray goes with red. So I find like the Hobbii like cotton colors, if you kind of stick with the palette, you can do a bunch of pastels and then you could do a bunch of neutrals. Like there's a lot of options. Which is really nice if you want to make amigurumi. Uh-oh. I got a naked balls hanging out. Oh, here it is. Yeah, these ones are not the best wrapped, I will say. Like I've had better. Like this one's pretty good. Like everything's kind of together. This one looks like they opened it and then put it back. And the little tab isn't very sticky, so that's okay. It's just the wrapper. So I have lots and lots and lots of cotton. But some people, like, you know, I like to shop a couple of colors, but a lot of it. And some people like to get one of each. And all the power to you. I will say that sometimes if you buy them singly, even though it's really annoying, you have to add them all separately to your cart. It's a little bit cheaper than buying the yarn color packs, I think. Like if you divide by 10, a yarn color pack is usually around 18 bucks on sale. So that's like 180 per scheme. It's the same size, it's not bigger. And if I bought it at 132 or 140, then it's a little bit cheaper. So keep that in mind. Don't just go for convenience, go for price. So there should be 8 of each of those. Okay. Yeah, so I think for these ones, I think for the gray, I bought this because I wanted to make the trellis tag by Becky Clo. Becky Klozak at Becky Clo Designs. We're kind of like Instagram friends and I've tested for her a lot of times. She has this tank, knitted tank top, and it's like a V-neck in the front, but it's customizable in case you don't want too much of a V. I know I don't like my shirts to go too low. It's a little bit uncomfortable for me, but you know, you do you. It's great if you have different options, different styles. So the front is knit in stock knit. It's knit in one piece, but the front is all stock knit and with some shaping. And then the back has like a very lacy, like vine kind of, I won't say, it's not cables. I don't think it's cabled. They just use like eyelets and slip stitches to make this like really, really cool effect that looks like ivy trellis is kind of like snaking up towards the back. So it's like business in the front, party in the back. Is very interesting. So I'm really excited to knit it. I'm hoping that this yarn will swatch to it because I tried another one and it was a little bit not there. So I'm going to try again with this one and then decide which cotton yarn I want to make it out of because it's like a summer tank. You don't want it to be too, you don't want to be too warm and with wool. Although for that one, I also, instead of making a tank top, I talked with her and I think I might try it as a tee. So at the bottom, you know, you just knit like, you know, from your waist up, like a tube, like as the pattern is written. But then instead of splitting to do the front and the back separately, I think I'll still do the front and the back, but I won't do the V-neck shaping. I'll just kind of continue on like a rectangle and then do a 3 needle bind off at the top with the lace pattern in the back and then the stock knit pattern in the front. And then I'll pick up for sleeves and maybe do a neckline, something simple. So we'll see how that works. That's just like potentially on my list to do, but I'll keep you posted if it was good. So yeah, for a pattern like that though, because it's so like lacy, intricate in the back, I do like to stick to like a very low contrast yarn or a solid color so you can really just see the design through versus like, oh, should I look at the speckling pattern? Should I look at the striping pattern? Or like, why am I getting color pooling? And it really distracts. Sometimes I find it detracts from like lace weights or not lace weights, from lacy designs or other cable designs. So something to keep in mind when you're like project planning. So that's really good. Okay, let me just move all my cotton. Oh, so much cotton. All right, and then I got another cake yarn. This is another Dahlia Cake. So this one is color, it doesn't say, it's color 5, sorry. This is color 5 and this one is color 6. This is the original I showed you. It actually matches this one. Like this dark pink kind of matches this one. So that's kind of nice. And then this one is a dark blue to dark purple. So I love jewel tones and I love purple. So I was thinking if I don't do one shawl each, if I have to do one massive shawl or potentially like a sweater or something that fairly simple. There's a lot of options. Like I would check Hobbie's patterns for sure. I would maybe start at this end, even though I don't like to start from the center. I start from the center, work over to the black, switch over black, and at the bottom it would be this light purple. So if you're imagining like, I don't know if I could do a whole dress. That seems like a lot of yardage. But a really long top, like a tunic top, it might work. Or a cardigan. It would be nice. A short sleeve cardigan. I don't like sleeves. Also with sleeves, then you have to like worry about how much yarn do you want this sleeve to be purple or black, and then you have to make sure you have enough yardage for both. That's very stressful for me. If you have multiples of these, it might not be so bad, because then you can be like, oh, I'll just start 2 cakes and then like go down, and so it'd be the same. But if I had to do a cardigan, that'd be really crazy. Maybe you have to start blue and then do the whole cardigan, like split for sleeves, and then continue the whole thing as far as possible using maybe one skein or one skein and a bit. And then like your sleeves would just be purple or something, so that you don't have to run out of a color. Because that, yeah, I think some people don't mind. I think I want my sleeves to be like the same. So when I do striping objects, like striping items, like I make one for my son, I have to count each row to make sure it's the same on each side. That's just like very stressful for me. It's a lot of color changing. It's a lot of ends to weave in. But anyways, long story short, that's only if you decide to use a 2 skein project. These are 200 grams. So it's actually a lot of yardage. Like I think you could definitely make, you can actually use this to make a ranunculus. I think that'd be really nice. You can start here so that it's still solid colored during the lace part at the top. And then like it'll fade closely to another color at the bottom, depending on how long you make it, or depending if you want long sleeves or not. But it's very like thin yarn. So if you use a large needle, the gauge is very large. So it'd be really fast to knit. That's actually a really good option. I have to think about, maybe I'll make another one of these. So anyways, these are the Dahlia, these are the Dahlia yarns. It's gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, let's see, we got another unicorn variegated. So these are the final, the final 3. I think they kind of go together. I like this blue one. I think the blue one goes for sure with both of them. Like this one is like, this blue brings out like the blue in this one. See, there's blue. So I think these ones go together really well if I had to fade them or marl them for a project. I think this blue also goes with this one. You have very similar speckle patterns like here and here. So it's a little bit of a high contrast with this dark blue in this version. But anyways, I wasn't sure because I thought this would just be socks for sure, and then maybe these ones would be a project together. So I think this would be a nice like fading or blending item. So one like I guess the fade would be mostly using one color first, and then when you're nearing the end, you want to just like alternate rows with this one to blend it and fade it into this one if you want to finish your project out. Another alternative is you can just alternate skeins with them. And so you do one row in the blue and then one row in this one. So I think it would definitely be a bit more of a self-striping effect, but it might be really cool. Who knows? I haven't decided what to do with these yet. But also, again, these ones could just be a standalone pair of socks or a shawl or a hat, like I mentioned earlier, because they're 400 meters. Still pretty good yardage for some projects. Okay, finally, I did buy some unicorn solid, I guess. This unicorn solid does go with all of these. So this one, Hobbii does have some recommendations on their site that says like, if you buy this unicorn solid or unicorn variegated color 3, you might want to consider like color 1, 3, 5, 7 on the website of unicorn solid, and those should match these ones. They're supposed to be the same. So this one, I think that's why I bought it, because this one's supposed to match this one as well. So obviously these ones go together. Like this dark blue is the same as this one. Okay, you can't tell in the light, but it really looks the same. They're obviously very complementary, so that's really nice. And then this one is like the blueness of this one would be brought out by the blueness of the solid. So another option, if you also maybe want to try like a color blocked item where you have like mostly the sweater is blue or something, and then you have like some really cool accents of your cuffs and your collar or your ribbing, like then you have some fun options to do with your variegated yarn, where like if it's just the edges, you don't worry so much about color pooling or matching or anything like that. So it might be a good option. So I did buy 4 skeins of this. I want to say it's also $13. Maybe this was like $15. Okay, I can't remember. And it doesn't say on here. It just says how many units I bought. So I bought 4, which is a sweater quantity for me. Obviously, if you were a different size than me, you might need more or less, which is fine. So I'm hoping to maybe get at least 1 sweater out of like maybe at least 3 of these skeins. We'll see how many skeins I use. And then potentially how much more. Maybe I'll make something matching for my son, because I love matchy. And this is a very good blue. Like this is like one of my favorite blues. Like this is like cerulean blue. If you remember crayon boxes, cerulean is like the one you can't pronounce, but it's like a very bright blue-green blue. So this is definitely one of my favorites. I have bought Hobbii Solid before. I haven't actually used it You can check out my other unboxing videos. The one where I'm wearing like a beige hoodie, that one is Hobbii Solid in it. And so I bought a few other colors. Gray is probably one of them. Purple is probably one of them. And so I think they'll hopefully work well with this one, with this blue. Obviously gray will, but I think the purple should too, because I probably bought maroon or aubergine. I buy a lot of aubergine. And so I forgot where I was going. Yeah, but I haven't actually cast on anything with that since I bought it. I was hoping to make the Savasana cardigan by Winter's Weather Knits. I did buy the pattern, so we'll see when I get it cast on. I think right now, since it's summertime, I'm not really in the mood to make like a very large cardigan or sweater project. I just want to focus on maybe some hats, maybe some stash busting, something small to be like, oh, okay, cool, I finished something. And I think sometimes when you're like your knitting mojo or your crochet mojo, some people call it crojo, if it's a little low, like sometimes you just need a little pick me up, like, oh, I'll just try this new hat pattern. Oh, I'll just try a little bit of color work, you know, just for practice or just to make something. You know, it's never too early to think about Christmas gifts, even though it's like June, because it really sneaks up on you. So I like to just have an inventory of like, oh, like random presents for somebody, or, you know, you never know who would like something, like a small gift. Also during the holiday season, there's usually a lot of ask for donations. Like people ask you for donations, like, oh, we like to give, you know, something to homeless people, or, you know, people who are less fortunate. And so I usually have like some extra stash of hats or shawls or blankets, and then I can donate to them as well, if I don't have any other use for them. So anyways, I can try to show you this, all this yarn that I bought is, I'm using my iPad, sorry, I don't really know how to use it. But there's like a lot of good stuff here. And so I don't know, I don't know if, like, it felt like a really good deal when I bought it, but then when you add up all the customs and taxes that I ended up having to pay, probably less of a good deal, but, you know, I guess that's what it is. C'est la vie. So thank you for joining me on this yarn haul unboxing today, and I hope you have a great day and a happy summer.